It's time for The King and the Cop with the legendary former MLB great Jim Leyritz. And with 100 years of law enforcement in his blood, Tommy Sedner. It's all things sports, plus cop talk, current events, entertainment, and more. Joined by America's favorite Jersey girl, Robin DeLory. It's The King and the Cop.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed, nothing seems to fit. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. So I just need some talking to the sun. And I said I didn't like the way he got things done, sleeping on the job. Those raindrops are falling on my head, they keep falling. But there's one thing.
I know.
The blues they send to meet me won't defeat me. It won't be long till happiness themselves to greet me.
Good afternoon. It's Monday, September 26th. It's lunchtime with the King and the Cop, and it won't be long. The raindrops, Jimmy and Robin, were falling on number 99's head last night, and we all just wanted that one more at bat, and now he's off to the border. Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to On New Jersey on NJ.com. Mr. Lori, ladies first. How was your weekend?
It was lovely. Thank you.
Lovely.
I started Squid Games. Did about 10 loads of laundry for my college kid.
Right.
And
The college kid who was just down here begging for lunch
We
right
had a
before we went on the show.
nice Friday night lights.
Yep.
And just a lot of mommy stuff.
All right.
And that's it. Enjoyed the weather. Got a lot of stuff done. It's a good weekend.
King, I know you were out there at the ballpark, but more importantly, you were doing your charity thing, and we'll do a little lineup in a minute or two. But I really want to start with where you were yesterday. We'll get to Aaron Judge. We portray, including yourself, players on the field, whether it be on a baseball or football or basketball, as our heroes. But you were with some real heroes yesterday, and maybe you could tell our audience where you were and who you were with.
Yeah, I got to experience for the first time the Tunnel to Towers walk through the tunnel, which is, of course, the last and final steps of Stephen Sillers, who was the fireman who died in 9/11. And Frank Sillers, his father, has started this foundation. And it's Tommy, I'm telling you, I've been part of Cantor Fitzgerald for almost 18, 17 years. It's really powerful. It's when you're walking with the families, you realize the loss. But to be part of this the other day, it was not only 9/11, it was also what they do for the veterans that fight for our country, for what the housings they provide and the things that they do. And it was just amazing. I mean, 32,000 runners showed up. And I was there at the finish line greeting everybody and saying hello. And, I can't do 5K myself because of my knees.
Right.
But John Houvain, who is one of the board members and works closely with Frank, he asked me to come down and be a part of it and see if this is something that I would like to get involved with. And I'm telling you, I left there and I was like, what more can we do? What can I do?
Right.
It was just totally just a great experience to just see this tragedy that happened on 9/11, what it has developed into with this Tunnel for Towers charity. And it's amazing the amount of money they raised, but just the amount of lives they've changed. And just how passionate Frank is, how passionate John is about this foundation. And I'm hoping to, now that I'm back in New York, and I'm going to be back in New York again next season, I'm looking forward to getting more involved with them. And of course, had the best opportunity to listen to one of the best speeches given by your brother, Eddie Sedner, and just what he's been going through and what this has been, the experience through him and what this foundation has meant to him also.
Yeah, can you imagine? I mean, you were with the real Setner yesterday, the real star and hero of our family, Eddie. Who would ever think, after serving on that pile as a sergeant in the New Jersey State Police Special Unit, would be diagnosed with stage 4 cancer from ground zero, and then would be selected by both governors to head the Port Authority Police. And there he stands yesterday. He's a big fan of Frank's. I know you know this. Frank, that's Frank is the brother.
I'm sorry, yeah,
To,
bro.
yeah,
That's
you
what I
knew
meant.
that. Yeah, but and my brother. Thank you for mentioning him. It's always proud for me. I attend a couple of these events with him. I know he was with Frank all weekend at the gala, and a couple different events. But yesterday, when you put up the pictures of 32,000 strong and those American flags coming through the tunnels, I mean, it's just, it was good to take a minute between watching NFL, uh, the President's Cup, if you're a sports junkie yesterday, and of course the Yankees, and really never forgetting what all this really stands for. And Robin, I know we're very passionate because it's hit our family hard. My brother Eddie was given only 6 months to live originally when he was diagnosed, and he laughed in the face of death and is here 6 years later working 14 hours a day, making a difference, and as a huge supporter and honors Frank and respects Frank. I know so much. So yeah, Jimmy, I'm glad you were there, and I hope you get involved because what this man's doing, I think he's building an entire neighborhood, I believe, somewhere out in Florida for these vets, which is what I always say at the end of the day when you go upstairs and they say, okay, you got some work to do. No, my friend, you made a difference in life. Frank's made a difference in life. He's really made a difference to a lot of people.
Well, you know what? I think some of the highlights from yesterday were just, first of all, the West Point cadets.
Right.
It was amazing, Tommy, how many of these kids were there and actually ran for the cause. I mean, there had to be, I would say, in excess of almost 300 kids. It was
Wow.
amazing, that turnout. And then, of course, all of the firemen that actually ran, and the police officers also, that ran in uniform. Full gear.
Full gear like he did. Yep.
And even I was escorted by Noel Firth, who we all know.
Yep.
Noel used to be on Mayor Giuliani's staff also, and has been a good friend of mine forever. And I was escorted by him, and he said, you know what, Jimmy, I have never seen the police officers in this run, because he's been involved with it for quite a few years. I've never seen these police officers do it in uniform. It was pretty amazing to see that. He's seen the firefighters do it, but he's never seen the officers do it. It was pretty cool.
Well, we still have that rivalry, cops and firemen. So I guess the cops finally stepped up.
Yeah.
If you another great foundation is the Ray Pfeiffer Foundation, and Robin saying, God bless America in the garden. And if you ever want to see a rivalry, go see the hockey game, the firemen against the cops, New York City. They're hugging each other after the fact, but there's no hugging Doran. You've been there. We were all there a couple of years ago. Well, good. Congratulations. And Tunnel to Towers, we're going to mention them as much as we can. I know you see them a lot advertised from Mark Wahlberg. Your old battery mate, Andy Pettit, is new, I see, to the family of Tunnel to Towers.
Yeah, he did a promo for them, and I'm not sure how involved he is, but he did a nice promo for them and an interview for them to support them. And I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I did get a bonus myself, though. I got a chance to meet Dierks Bentley, which
nice.
Yeah, I'd seen him at Jones Beach a couple years ago, and all of a sudden, John Houvain comes up to me and says, "Jimmy, go wait in this VIP area." And I go in there, I sit there with Noel, and all of a sudden, they shut everything up, and they kick the rest of the people out, and it's just me and Noel sitting in there. And then, like 5 minutes later, the entire band and Dierks Bentley come in, and the security guard comes in and kind of looks at Noel and I, and he sees our badges. He kind of doesn't say anything, but I could tell he's like, "Who in the heck are these people sitting in
You
here?"
backup singers.
Yeah. And so I let it go on for a little bit of a while, and he kept looking at me, and Dierks Bentley was sitting right next to me. And, I didn't say anything, and I just we were watching all the names being read. And all of a sudden, John came back in and he pulled me back out and said, come on back out here. And we're standing out there. And then Dirk Bentley came in with his security. And the guy walked next to me. And he looked at me again. I said, I know you're still trying to figure out who in the heck I am. I said, I'm Jim Leyritz from the New York Yankees. I won a couple World Series. I said, I'm down here to support everything. And he goes, I was wondering who you were.
And tell him at your parade there was over a couple million people there as opposed to 32,000.
He was going to hand you a harmonica.
Yeah. Hey,
one really cool thing I want to share.
Yeah.
And this is what reminded me when I had Michelle come to her first 9/11 event to walk the memorial, to meet the family. Dirk Bentley was in tears watching these guys walk in, watching the event take place. He had said to me, even the night before when he performed and was part of all that, that the power and that he was so happy that he was there to witness this, because he never really grasped the effect of 9/11 on people, on especially New York.
Right.
And it was just really kind of like heartwarming to see somebody like as big as he is that was asked just to come perform, literally get to the point where like, I have to do something here. I have to be involved. This is, he was on stage with me filming these guys come walking in. I mean, it was just amazing. And it's just so neat for people who have been outside of New York that don't really know the impact that this had to really witness it and see and actually feel it and know that what New Yorkers and what everybody went through.
Yeah, if you don't know, you don't know until you feel that chemistry. You know what I mean? I can imagine.
Well, as the slogan says, never forget. And I think you're right, Jimmy. Across America, as time goes on, like with, although this was one of the biggest tragedies ever in our history, you tend to forget unless you live in this tri-state area, and you will never forget. So it's nice to see. I had a friend in from California this past week, and she went over to the museum and shared a bunch of pictures with me, and she was just in awe of everything. And you're not allowed to take certain pictures in the museum, but just she said it moved her so much. My friend Carla was with her sister. She said it moved them so much. And this is 20 years now. So I would encourage people to support Tunnel to Towers, support the museum, and never forget. And, good for you, Jimmy. It was a good day. I get to go, Robin and I, to a lot of these events, and sometimes we go with you. But there's a part of me that I will tell you, when I go to them and I see my brother up there as one of the keynote speakers, I'm so proud, but I'm also shook up because nobody knows what this man goes through every day. And I watch him, I just watch him fight the fight and go to work because he refuses to be sick or allow him to take something away from him that took so many lives away. And I mentioned it on Friday. We've lost more people now to the illness of Ground Zero than we did on the day of 9/11. So God bless them all. One last thing before we move on, with respect to New Jersey, our former governor at the age of 85, Governor James Florio, passed away last night. Governor Florio was known for a few things, loved the environment, but was a fighter. Originally from New York, was actually a fighter, and took that kind of approach in Congress and took that approach as a governor. So prayers to his family. He served this state well. Again, bipartisan. We don't care Republican or Democrat. Nobody takes these jobs and looks to do the wrong thing. We might not agree with him, but God bless Governor Florio. Jimmy, 99 is on his way to Canada. I said we'd do some direct talk, and you were with our friends John Ganello and Kerry Ganella of the famous, say it, Vespucci's restaurant. But John, that's just John's. That's not his daytime job. He's got Direct Waste Management. John is a huge company in the state of New Jersey, and I know you spent some time with them at the Yankee game the other day. But everybody is on pins and needles for 99. And, now we got to go to Toronto, where when we were on the radio show, I beat the hell out of the Toronto fans because they boo our national anthem. So Mr. Judge We'll get booed tonight. Our national anthem will get booed tonight. And I'm quite confident that the big guy Babe is going to say, all right, you showed me the respect. Now go break the damn record or tie the record with Roger Maris. To be there, Jimmy, and I want to talk to Kerry and John, and maybe we'll do that tomorrow. You're a former player, and I saw you with Torres and Bucky Dent and my old friend there, Rick Cerrone from the Newark Bears. It's funny how before the pitch it goes silent, and then with 2 strikes, the crowd is crazy. The tension. How was the tension? Even as a former player, how did you, as a player fan, were you just like, just on pins and needles?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's so funny because even some of the players from the Yankees commented that they've never seen it before, where all of a sudden the stadium gets almost completely quiet. It's like they're at a golf match, But yeah, it's everybody's on pins and needles. Everybody is waiting. It's so funny to see everyone come out to their seats when he comes up to the plate, and then as soon as he makes the out, everybody leaves their seats.
Yeah.
But
and lost of the whole thing was usually because we hate them so much, we swept the Red Sox 4 games too, and now magic numbers too. But I think the Red Sox were glad the game finally got rained out. They probably had enough of it, and they dodged a bullet. Jimmy, as a player, he did just miss a couple, and you could see that he's just missing a couple. Over anxious?
I think so a little bit. I mean, you have to be. You're getting a milestone that is, if you remember when Jeter was chasing for the most hits by a Yankee, it took him a couple of extra days to get that because he said, I was pressing. This is a huge record. You're going to be the all-time leader in Yankee hits. I mean, I don't know too many people that can do that as far as the home runs go. I probably, feel bad for the Maris family because now they're on their way to Toronto also.
Right.
They asked them. I was thinking about them the other day. Like they keep showing them on television, and I kept thinking that they probably say, "We're kind of getting tired of this. Can you hit it already?"
But they said they're going to go. Right? They're going.
They are going.
Traveling's exhausting. Getting to that stadium every day is probably not easy.
But there's 2 ways to think about this. There's 2 ways to think about it. Once he breaks the record, if he does, they will never have these trips again.
Right.
Okay. Or is it possible he only hits 1 more home run and he ties Roger Maris and they share the record for the rest of eternity? So it could happen either way.
He's the kind of kid that probably would like to be part of Yankee history and share it.
Oh, because this has to be done during regular season.
Okay. Yeah. So with 3 in Toronto, 4 home against Baltimore. That's it, right?
Well, no, then 4 against Texas.
Oh, and 4 against Texas. Yeah.
So how many more games?
So there's 4, 8, 11 games. He's going to hit a minimum of 2 more home runs.
I just don't understand the one thing I don't get is if I were a major league pitcher, I would actually want my name attached to 61.
Well, they pitched to him. You can't say they did pitch to him. They challenged him. I mean, he had many, I guess, Jimmy, better than anybody. Then it becomes a guessing game. Are they pitching to me or are they not going to pitch to me?
Why doesn't anybody just lob it over the plate?
No, because you're a competitor.
Here's the thing that I do like. He's not up there chasing. He's taking the walks.
Right.
He's getting some hits. You got to remember, there's also a pressure of going for the Triple Crown.
Exactly.
Right.
And he's playing against the guy that he's going against the Triple Crown or the batting average for.
Yep.
So it's like, okay, Bogarts gets a hit, I got to get a hit.
Right.
It's the same. I want to get a home run, but I also want to. The Triple Crown would be kind of nice too. So it's really, I can't imagine the pressure that Aaron is actually feeling. By chasing 2 different records at the same time.
Will you go to Toronto?
Me? No.
Yeah, no.
Nope. I'll be watching it on one TV and my New York Giants on the other TV.
Yeah. We'll get to the Giants in a minute. Let's stay in New Jersey for a second. Rutgers showed that they're still a little immature. Iowa kind of manhandled them the whole game. So Rutgers is now 3-1. But Shiano's not going to get this done overnight, and they got a few tough games coming up. But it was nice to see the Rutgers students and fans fill the place. But if they want to keep filling it, they got to win. They got to build this winning program. The Jets, the Florham Park Jets, the New Jersey Jets. You know what? Let's call them the New York Jets today because they were pathetic. But
Whatever. I don't care what you call them.
Jimmy Cincinnati Bengals. There was no way they were going to the Super Bowl and then going 0-3. But the Jets, they look terrible. They look terrible yesterday. But the Bengals, Jimmy, the Bengals still got to be concerned about their offensive line. They got to protect this kid. You don't want to lose him to injury.
Yeah, I mean, it's a glaring weakness, and it's something that you were already in week 3, and if you're not improving, that's not a good sign. And they are lucky that they played the Jets, and maybe getting that one win off the back. Now they can relax a little bit, but at the same time, yeah, Tommy, that's a big weakness in that ball club.
Yeah. So two things, and we are bouncing around, but that's okay too. Pete Alonso showed up, Robin's favorite baseball player, yesterday and broke the RBI record for the Mets.
Yes, he did.
Took over as the all-time RBI. He beat Pizza Man, Mr. Mike Piazza.
He's in Italy.
He is in Italy?
Yeah.
Right now?
I saw pictures.
He's in Italy. He's trying because he's the manager of the team.
Yeah, he did Special Olympics in Italy.
Very nice. But Pete Alonso having another great year and probably is in the shadows, and he is in the shadows of the greatness of Aaron Judge this year. So congratulations to Pete Alonso. And then your dear friend, and I was surprised and I wasn't surprised to see this, Donnie Baseball will not be coming back next year as the Marlins manager.
Yeah, I was privy to get that information about a month ago. And was told to keep it quiet, but
right.
He's ready to move on. I think he probably kind of feels the same way Jeter did.
Yeah.
This is not a team that's pushing to win. They're just looking to survive. And, I want to own a team type of thing. Like, look at me. I think it's going to be a big sign to Major League Baseball that maybe this is not a city that needs to have a baseball team.
Yeah.
Maybe a Las Vegas, maybe a Nashville, maybe a Charlotte deserves an opportunity to where the fans are going to come support, but also where managers and players are going to want to play.
Right. I mean, this Marlins Stadium is beautiful, but they didn't build anything around it. They made that mistake. It's not a destination. It's just a stadium. So you're not going to go there early and go to the local restaurants or anything. And that's sad.
When you think about it, though, like MetLife is not a destination.
Yeah, but there's what they call tailgating.
Yes.
There's no tailgating at Marlins?
Not really.
Not really at baseball, right?
Not at baseball, but not the way where this stadium is set up, the way it's set up. It's just it's actually in the middle of like a neighborhood almost.
Yeah, it's city parking.
Yeah, city parking. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They talk about moving a team to Fort Lauderdale and stuff, but that was your old home for a while. But I think you're right. They need to go to Vegas or Nashville or somewhere. It's not going to work. And you're right. No, who would want to go play there? And they've had great players come through their system, and then they got to get rid of them because they can't afford them.
And they have a pretty good young team.
Yep.
It's just I understand it. I'm sure the guys in Tampa kind of feel a little bit the same way when you come to the ballpark every day, and it's just not a happy place to come to. And that's your home ballpark. So it's got to be difficult. It's got to be tough.
The feng shui is all off.
It's all off. And
the energy's not there.
Rob, to your point.
But the chicken fingers were absolutely...
No, that was Tampa.
Yeah, he just said Tampa.
Oh, okay, my bad. But they were the best chicken fingers ever. Yeah. That being said, the feng shui, energy, whatever,
our living room is totally off too. That's why you don't like sitting there. There's something to be said about a coziness, and there's.
I brought all the wrong size furniture. That's
we don't measure.
We don't measure.
Oh, I like this. It's all off.
In other words, you have to be comfortable in your home setting, and obviously the Marlins are not comfortable in their home setting.
That's a
Exactly.
good.
Especially if you have to perform, right? Like, so it's
Right.
not even like comfort. It's like you have to deliver.
Well, even these away teams going to Yankee Stadium are playing in front of 50,000 every night. Pittsburgh came in and they got the performance. They thought they were on the Broadway show for that night, and that's pretty cool. But where do you think does Mr. Mattingly take a deep breath and stay out of baseball for a minute, or will somebody pursue him? Is he always outside the front door of the Yankees? I mean, they passed on him once. Would they ever think about bringing Donnie Baseball back? The old Steinbrenner would if they didn't win the World Series this year. I could see something like that. How many times he did it to Billy
How
Martin?
old is he?
Donnie, he's got to be my age. He's probably 59.
Oh, so
Yeah.
he's young.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it's not broken, why would you be fixing it with Aaron Boone? Like, why would you? It's not broken, is it?
Well, here's the thing. There's the possibility that, when you talk like that, Tommy, is Aaron Boone's got 3 years or 2 more years on his contract.
Right.
They just gave him a 3-year deal. Again, if the old George Steinbrenner was around, George would say, okay, make him your bench coach.
Right.
Put a little pressure on the manager going, hey, I got another manager sitting right next to you. If you don't get the job done, he'll take it.
Yeah, that Booney would have a bleeding ulcer. I just got we both did a text message, and this is great because not only do they own a deli and a waste management company, but Kerry Ganello just reached out to us because she's from what deli again?
You said Vespucci's.
Vespucci's.
This is getting tiresome.
And she's a decorator, so she's going to come over and help us with the feng shui in the house.
But
because
see, this
we
is
can't
why
get
you need me on the show, unfortunately, because you need
somewhere?
to talk about normal things too.
We're talking about normal. Donnie
No,
Baseball's out of a job.
No, I don't mean it like that. I mean, everybody can relate to having something feeling like a bit off. So whether we're talking sports or under your own roof.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. Jimmy and you and I all have children the same age. Jimmy, and what's going on now? I built this beautiful theater room. Me and you sat there and watched the Final Four, Sweet 16 last year. It's nice, right? We were comfortable, But now, Superstar's got a girlfriend, and he wants the basement to himself, so I'm out. The other guy wants the living room, so I'm out of there. So I find myself watching on a 13-inch TV in the kitchen, for God's sakes. Oh, speaking of the other guy, he just walked. This is live TV. Just come in here and eat right over his mother's shoulder.
How was practice, Joe?
Joey had a big game. Joe, you're going to Giant game tonight. Talking to the mic. Are the Giants beating the Cowboys? Are they going 3-0?
Mm-hmm.
What's it? You can't. You eat with your mouth full. I mean, you're like an animal.
Fuck.
What kind of kid did you raise, Robin?
Yes, they're winning.
They're winning tonight. What's the score?
You say hi to Jimmy?
Hi, Jimmy.
So
21-16.
21-16. You agree, Jimmy? I think the Giants are going to slap around the Cowboys tonight.
Well, you got to stop Micah Parsons. That's the big key.
Right.
If they can stop him, and keep him off Daniel Jones, we'll be in good shape. I think they win. I think 27-16 is not a bad call.
He said 21-16. I agree with you. 27-16. I think they're gonna. What's the spread? What's the spread?
1.
Oh, 1.
Giants by 1.
Nice.
So
I think they're a good bet tonight. Well, we're allowed to say it's a good bet on TV.
Yes, we are. DraftKings.
This guy's flexing. Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here.
We're looking for a sponsor. Hey, Joe, here's what my father would say. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. All right. Thanks for showing up. But the Giants are
love you, honey.
MetLife will be hopping tonight, Jimmy, like Yankee Stadium. If you're in New Jersey and New York, you're in for a treat because if you've been going to the Yankee game, now you're going to Giant game, you'll see a lot of the same faces. And that's the fun part about living in this area. You're on theater tonight too. Monday Night Football, Giants, Cowboys. Who do you like tonight there, Robin?
I just can't get past it. My son just flexed on
television.
television.
Well, this is the normal thing that he just walked on. This is the respect he has.
But I think maybe we should go back, rewind, and talk to the father of some teenagers. You were saying, actually, I don't want to. Forget it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing. I was trying to
Also, I know, Jimmy, at 7:30 in the morning, into our audience, because I know you all can relate.
Oh, this was
Our
bad.
bedroom door came down like a battering ram hit it, a bunch of narcotics cops. I thought all my old partners were here because he couldn't find his shirt to go to football practice this morning. So he had to wake up the whole house.
Wait, no, this is the best.
Or
I don't
his-
know what it is about me. I don't know, but if I'm sleeping and you come up to me, I go like I get startled really quickly. So I actually scared the person that's trying to wake me up.
Yeah.
So this morning he runs in, so he scares the crap out of us. And they didn't have school. So he said, "Where's my uniform?" And I said, "Oh, I realized I forgot to wash it."
Yeah.
But the
But he
best
didn't
part
need it.
is
You
I
knew.
get up, I try to scramble to go wash it, and then he says, "Oh, well, I don't need it today."
Yeah. Well, Jimmy, you're an empty nester now, aren't you?
I will. No, what we got. She's got one more year to finish this year.
But girls are different. I mean, I'm if I ever went into my father's bedroom at 7:30 and woke my mother and father up for something that I should have taken care of, I wouldn't have had to wait to get hit at football practice. I would have been knocked out right in the bedroom, but that's not my blood. But his father probably would have knocked him out.
I think we have to lock the door because that's I couldn't catch my breath after that. I was startled all morning.
But thanks for his guest appearance today. That's twice I got a pleasure being with him. Anyway, Jimmy, go ahead,
We're
Jimmy.
talking about the NFL.
Yeah.
And our Giants that could be 3-0 tonight. How about yesterday's action? I mean, the Colts. Everybody, I will guarantee you, 80% of the suicide pools, somebody lost with the Chiefs yesterday.
No doubt about that. But I thought you were going to say your old hometown. How about the Dolphins?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about the Dolphins are 3-0 and they came back yet again? I mean, so
despite kicking the punter, kicking the guy in the butt.
I know. It's too funny.
Were
you watching the game at home tonight?
I am going to go to my little sports bar down the 2 blocks down called Salugi's, and they'll have both the Yankee game on and the Giants on. So
you should go meet him there and do a show, like a little cameo.
Well, I got our caffeine of water that we're both drinking.
You should be doing TikToks from there, is what you should be doing.
And we'll head out before the season's over. We'll do a playoff game or something, maybe at Mickey's Bar and Grill. The owners of Caffeine own Mickey's Bar and Grill in Lyndhurst. And Ronnie, he's always asking. I talked to Ronnie this morning. I think it's a fun time to be a fan in New York. Like you said the other day, the Mets are getting it done. They got a big series coming up with Atlanta. I think they still need to win that Eastern Division as opposed to being a wild card. And what's your opinion on that? I mean, the extra wild card, I get it. You don't want that pressure, right? You want to sit back and have a few days off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to waste 3 days of a pitching.
Right.
You got 3 pitchers that you would waste during that type of series that wouldn't be ready to play the first 2 games of the next series. So that's a big, the way it's working and the way they have it scheduled, it is to put the wild card teams at a disadvantage,
right,
for playing the guys that won the division. So you're going to be at a disadvantage by using the pitching staff that you'll have to use to get there in the first place. So yeah, I think if I'm the Mets, I have to win my division.
Of course, this city will be rooting for a miracle and have another Subway Series, which when the Mets and the Yankees played each other in the World Series, there was nothing like it. But speaking of that, you spent some time with a few of the old timers. You were with Mike Torres and Bucky Dent, and I see they were doing their autograph on. Speaking of Boston Yankee rivalry, Mike gave up the famous home run to Bucky Dent. The former owner of the Newark Bears and longtime catcher of the Yankees, Rick Cerrone, Louis Soho. Who else was there? You had a full house, I saw.
Yeah, our buddy Joe Quagliano, who was IBAF.
Yep.
He has his company Mint Pros, and they do 3 or 4 events at the stadium where they rent the suite. And 2 weeks ago they honored Matsui, and we all went in there and signed autographs to the fans. This time it was Mike Torres and Bucky Dent in the home run. And I think I said this. I'm not sure if I said this yesterday or not, but I said to Torres, I said, listen, you need an agent because every time I'm with you, you're signing the Bucky Dent home run picture. Charlie Hayes makes a crap load of money
For the last out.
the last out of the 96 World Series. Why aren't you promoting the last out of the 77 World Series and a complete game that you pitched? Why isn't there a picture of that and you signing that? Because that is even bigger than giving up the home run to Bucky Dent as far as your career is concerned.
Speaking of bigger, he was one of the bigger players in baseball back then. Not everybody. Mike is a big man. He looks great. I saw him in the picture. Of course, he was our pitching coach with the Newark Bears, and then my right arm, he was my GM. So I spent countless hours a day with Mr. Torres and stories. And you're right, he needs a darn agent. But I miss Mike. I hope to see him soon. And Bucky Dent was one of my favorites. So how ironic that years later, that day I remember as a kid rooting for Bucky Dent like no other, and then going on to be dear friends with Mike Torres. But Jimmy, who do you think, if the Yankees were to survive and get past Houston, are they what would you say the top three teams right now? It's got to be the Dodgers. Would you say Dodgers, Houston, Yankees in that order?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at National League, you're saying you got to go through the Dodgers to win. If you're looking at the American League, as much as the Yankees have done well, you're still looking at Houston as the team to beat.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it's going to be. Again, I'm never going to say upsets can't happen because look what we did to the Braves. But as of now, yeah, I think that's the way you have to look at it. And I think the Yankees are in better shape than they've ever been because I think their pitching is better. Even though Montas is hurt, I think their pitching's better. I think the one thing about that Oakland trade, Montas was the centerpiece, and the throw-in was Trevino. Well, Trevino's been unbelievable out of the bullpen. Yeah. It reminds me of '96 when Jeff Nelson was a throw-in for the Seattle deal, and how big Jeff Nelson was for us in '96.
Yep.
Trevino's done that, not the catcher Trevino, but the pitcher Trevino.
Yep.
Has done that for us. And then, of course, the catcher Trevino has done a tremendous job also. So I think the Yankees look better. I really think the key is if DJ LeMahieu can get healthy.
Yeah.
I'm so upset and feel so bad for Matt Carpenter because if he was healthy, he's a difference maker off the bench.
Yep.
We won't have that weapon, which is really, really sad because I think that would have been a huge weapon to have. But at the same time, and then you look at the other side, you look at the Mets. If DeGrom is healthy and Scherzer's healthy, Bassett's throwing the ball great to John Walker. I mean, they are poised also to have a long run in October and maybe even a better, longer run than the Yankees on paper.
Yeah, I agree. Any plans of going to a Met playoff game?
I'll be at both. I told you, my boss is the Mets fan. I work for him. I have clients that are Mets fans, and my job with that company is to take some clients to games. And where better else can you do that than during the playoffs?
Well, we're taking the kid that was just here chewing in our ear and getting crumbs all over us. He's a huge Met fan, and we're taking Joey out for one of the games as a birthday present. Mr. Laurie, I wanted to talk about this, and maybe we'll talk about it more tomorrow, but where are you singing October 15th?
Oh, I'm singing at
we're touching foundations today, and I want to start talking about this as much as we can.
So a very good friend of ours,
Yep.
Deb Boffato, she's just a trailblazer. She used to be the president of North Jersey Komen.
Yep. And Jimmy, you'll remember meeting her when we did the Pink in the Park. She was the lady behind Susan G. Komen.
Yep.
And she's a trailblazer. She can never sit still because there's always something to be done.
Right.
And she's a philanthropist. She's an activist. She's a go-getter. She is a wonderful wife, mother, grandmother, and she doesn't sit still.
She takes credit for me and you meeting and getting married.
Does she?
She sure does.
Oh, well, good. Should I thank her? Or
I don't know.
what?
After that scene this morning, I'm not sure
Yeah,
anymore.
I
But
don't know. And
I
that's a
can't,
whole other show.
I can't live without you. But go ahead.
So anyway, she started an organization, letstalkwomen.org.
Yep.
That I want to double check that website. And it's a full day, almost like a symposium of women panelists, professionals, speaking about the importance of women's health and not just breast cancer. I'm sure that is what the impetus of the whole program was, because she's a two-time survivor. Amazing, amazing woman. And so we wanted to give back.
Yep.
And you can't really do an event, in my opinion, without the universal language of music. Right.
Yep.
So I'm not going out with my full band because it's a symposium. I am absolutely positive that there'll be major events in terms of affairs,
yeah.
black tie affairs.
Yep.
But me and three or four, or maybe even five. I haven't decided if I'm going to add 2 or 3 horns, but the core of some of the best jazz musicians that I've had the opportunity of working with over the years will be there with me. Killer rhythm section. John Bianculli, Sue Williams on bass, and Jonathan Peretz on drums. And we're just going to have a really beautiful, intimate celebration of women, of health, of music. It's going to be a great day at NJPAC, October 15th.
Well, we'll put it up tomorrow. I blindsided you with
did.
that today.
That's okay.
Because I have health on my mind, and any chance Jimmy and I, or maybe the Ganellos, could be backup singers.
No, but you guys are very. You're
Jimmy. I mean, Bernie plays the guitar. Paul O'Neill on the drums. You had to do something in that locker room. I mean,
listen, you guys put up with me talking about sports, knowing nothing about a lot of it. So I would be open to giving you guys like a tambourine or something, or an egg shaker.
I always ask, why, Jimmy, why can't I just stand up there? We went to Jimmy, help me out. It was Billy Joel's band. We went out to Clearwater to see them. Richie Ganada's brother hooked us up, your buddy, Lords of Flatbush.
Yeah.
And I said, right, why can't me and you be up on the stage in the back? Nobody would shut our mics off. Make people, because everybody wants to be a rock star for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You can. We would love to have you.
Well, Deb Belfato is a wonderful person who also is one of those people who is making a difference. She makes a difference. It's just that simple.
Let's talk wellwomen.org. Follow it on Instagram. I will put it up. You slightly blindsided me today, so I will definitely have it up for tomorrow so that everybody can follow it. And we will talk more we'll have Deb on to talk more about it as the event approaches.
Let me ask you guys both another question. Do you believe, and this is related, I'm going to get to it. Do you believe these Apple phones or whatever phone we're on or computers you're sitting in front of, when you mention somebody's name, it triggers something? I just literally am not on LinkedIn.
I saw that before.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I do agree.
It just popped up literally 9 minutes ago. Deb Belfato comments on something on my screen.
Yeah, no, that's a thing. I know it. The beeping is, if you allowed me to interject here, the beeping is Jimmy must have either iMessage or his email on his screen as well. So every time he gets a notification, that's what you're hearing.
Oh, okay. That's and Joe. So Jimmy's out. I'm in. Kerry Ganello just said she's out, but John's a wonderful backup. So it looks like me and Johnny Ganello are backing up maybe on October 15th, maybe for one song.
I would pay to see that.
Yeah, you might have to.
Johnny could play the drums.
I don't know.
You could do spoken word.
What's that?
Well, you're a very good talker. If I say talk for 20 minutes, you'd be able to talk for 20 minutes.
My father used to say that.
So we could play music behind you.
Yeah.
And you could just talk.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway, let's get back to this talk. I got to ask you one question here. Do you think the Met fans are rooting against Aaron Judge?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No, I think we're at a point now where you talk to most Yankee Met fans. Most people root for New York,
Right.
and and you see, and if you're a baseball person, if you're a baseball fan, this is something that you have to be rooting for. I mean, this is history. This is something that 61 years ago happened, which is kind of amazing. All the numbers, but I think as a Mets fan, and listen, it's like Judge is a lot like Jeter. It's really hard to hate him.
Yeah, it's hard to root against them. But I'm setting this up for the both of you because Robin's a alleged Met fan. It really is rumored, and I'm wondering what the word is among your colleagues and the beat reporters. I hear Mr. Cohen's going to go after him. The Mets are going to go after him.
Listen, I haven't had my meeting yet with Cash, but
you better.
Did you hear that, Jimmy?
So here's my guess as far as the scenario goes.
Right.
If I'm the New York Yankees, and realistically Aaron Judge's agent, I know that he's probably got 8 good years left. Right? A 10-year contract would be pushing it, but he's got 8 years, and I roughly give him $360 million. That would be my first offer. 8 years, $360 million. Well, I know Stephen Cohen is going to come back and say, screw that. Here, you know what? I'll give you 10 years. Maybe you won't play the last 2, but I'll just give you the 10 years. I'll give you $200 million up front, and you'll give me the $200 million, and I'll invest it over the next 10 years, and you get to keep all that money that I make for you. Right. And I get to keep the interest of that money you get to keep, like a Bobby Bonilla type of situation.
And then it comes down to
so then that happens, and now I'm negotiating for the Yankees, and I'm going, okay, if that's his offer, here's my offer. I'm going to give you an 8-year playing contract. If you're good enough after 8 years and you want to keep playing, we'll renegotiate. We'll leave that open. But I'm going to give you an 8-year contract, the same $360 million, but I'm going to give you a 10-year service contract for $10 million a year per year to be the Yankee ambassador. And you could be a Yankee forever. You can work in the front office the next 10 years after that, and as much as you want or as little as you want. But now you get $460 million, and I just topped Stephen Cohen's money.
You know what? And I think me and you are going to give the approval. And I think, by the way, both of those ideas, I could see those playing out. But as you sip Caffeina, as a very small minority partners that we are in Caffeina Water, we're going to offer Aaron Judge to be the spokesman of Caffeina Water too.
There you go.
There you go. You know, we'll make him the spokesman. Damn it.
Good idea.
Ronnie, call us later. We're going to make Aaron Judge an offer that he can't refuse. Speaking that he can't refuse, the Italians. Any shot that your son can go play for Italy for Mike Piazza? Because he's texting me, Michael, telling me I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. But I like when people, he texted me, here it is, you can read it.
Just busting your chops.
No, but it's okay. I like, Jimmy, when people watch us to find out if we know what we're talking about or if we don't know what we're talking about. So I say
what is it that you don't know what you're talking about? What did you say that you don't know what you're talking about?
I don't know. He's laying up in the bed right now. I'm working. So, I mean, I know that. But I will, he's off from school today. I will say that, Jimmy.
Well, you know what? Yes, he's off of school today. We do have to wish our Jewish contingent Happy New Year.
Oh, that's right.
It is Happy New Year.
Rosh Hashanah.
Yep. And I think I'm starting, since we got married 4 years ago, I believe there should be no more holidays. Everybody should go to school every day. Who needs them here?
Yeah.
Really? Or we got to go away.
I mean, we could have done the show from California.
Or with Jimmy in the city somewhere and just stayed in the city.
We could do it at a Salegi's.
Yeah.
Salugis.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute. She don't know how to pronounce a restaurant.
You didn't say it 10,000 times.
Here's the funny thing. My wife,
right,
when I said Salugis, she's like, ew, that sounds gross. Say Salugis.
Salugis.
A little more Italian that way. Salugis.
Salugis. Yeah, that's right. So,
What
it does. It sounds like a loogie. Like,
What does it mean in Italian?
maybe it's somebody's last name.
What does it mean?
I don't know. I just eat and drink there.
Hey, yo, let's find out.
Let's find out.
Anyway, on New Jersey, which we're proud to be on, ONNJ.com. You can watch us at any time. Like if you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, like me, I watched the entire broadcast the other night. Jimmy, one of the things about Yankee fans and Met fans and Giant fans and Jet fans, they demand that their teams win. One of the rivalries we all know is Giants Cowboys. We can't lose to the Giants tonight with a backup quarterback playing. That would take a lot of wind out of their sails.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And, this is, I don't know if it's as big a rivalry as it used to be, but it is the Cowboys.
It is the Cowboys.
And we definitely, number one, don't want to lose to them in the first place, but definitely don't want to lose to them with their backup quarterback.
Yeah. And and then if we go 3-0, this is what New York, New Jersey fans like to do. We might get ahead of ourselves. Let's not put us in the Super Bowl. One game I did bounce around yesterday, I don't know if you saw any of it, was Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady went head to head. It's kind of a uneventful game until the end. And as he always does, Brady gets down there and, scores a touchdown, and they need a 2-point conversion, and they get a delay of game before they go for the 2-point, backs them up another 5 yards. And now they're really in a pinch, and they don't complete the pass, and they wind up losing to the Packers. But his kids were at the game. Tom's kids were at the game, but Miss Giselle did not show up yet again. And they're saying that Brady's out of sorts.
She's working.
Jimmy, this is the place that you walk the Brooklyn Bridge, right?
What's that?
This is the place that Salugis. This is the place
you
go.
It's the neighborhood bar right down the street.
Oh, okay, because it's a Brooklynism, and Salugi is it's a game of keep away that kids play. It's a Brooklynism.
Never heard of
I don't think that's the same thing.
Anyway, as far as Tom and Giselle, what I'm concerned, TC.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Tom Brady is not necessarily Giselle. I'm concerned that this is the second week in a row the Tampa Bay Bucks have not scored a touchdown.
Yeah. You mean a passing touchdown?
A passing touchdown. Yeah. I mean,
he's off to one of his slowest starts ever. But I'm saying, what's to say? And it has nothing to do with, maybe it does have a little bit to do with age, but we all have these moments in our personal lives where you bring them to work sometime. I mean,
I have to say, I don't understand that because I had 2 of my best years when I was going through divorce. So
she motivated you then. She motivated you. Oh my goodness gracious. So, I'll show her anyway. So the Packers won that game. And like you said, the Colts won and the Dolphins won, and everything else was kind of uneventful. The Rams won. But also, I guess the Titans game came down to a 2-point conversion to end the game, and the Titans held on.
Well, listen, I had another great day on the Red Zone. The Red Zone was terrific to watch yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I found that the week before because I never even had seen it. And I popped it on again, and I'm like, oh, my God, second week in a row that all these games are coming down to the last possessions. It was great.
It really is. It's a great concept, and NFL does a great job with that. I'm surprised nobody's copied them, MLB or anybody else with something like that. So you want to come on the air? That you just opened the studio door. The other son, the other god of the family is here. But,
happy Rosh Hashanah. Everybody's home. Yeah,
everybody's home. Jimmy, they all want the nickname the King. I mean, they all think they're kings the way they're treated.
What is it that we don't know?
Even LeBron James wanted that name in New York, and I'm like, dude, you got to win a championship in New York before you can get that name.
That's right. You wonder why he never tested the waters of the Garden, and then came to the Knicks. I don't know. I don't know. I remember Shaq was close to being a Knick, and he tells the story that it came down to weather. He grew up in Newark, and he said he didn't want to go through the cold, and he wanted to go to sunny California. So that worked out for him.
Which, by the way, going back to the whole Judge thing with these two scenarios that you would apply if you were the Mets or the Yankees, maybe he wouldn't want to be handcuffed to New York for
Well, he's
all
a
those
California
years.
boy.
Yeah.
He is a California boy. I mean,
You know,
I
there
mean,
is
you can
rumors
work from anywhere, though.
Right.
You could, I mean,
there are rumors that his wife does want to go back to San Francisco. But again, you have to look at the longevity of your post career and the amount of money, the amount of endorsements, the amount of just, when you hit 55 and you're tired of being home and you want to get out and you want to go represent the Yankees, you know what? It's pretty cool. Even Derek Jeter said it the other day during his speech. He hadn't been back to Yankee Stadium since the 20-year reunion in 2016. And he said, hearing the 50,000 people screaming and yelling again, I never realized how much I missed that.
You know what, Jimmy? I want to ask you a question about that. You were there. He said something at the end of that speech. He said, I haven't been here in 20 years and I missed it. But then he followed up with, I'm going to see you real soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think, listen, he left the door open. It makes sense. If I'm the New York Yankees, why wouldn't I have Derek Jeter as my head? I mean, we were all shocked when he went to the Marlins.
Right.
Because of all teams, you're going to go to a team that's a losing team, much less, but maybe now there is this opportunity. I don't know the behind the scene conversations that have gone on that him and Cashman are trying to bury the hatchet possibly. Because we all know that's a big bone of contention.
Yep.
But again, if I'm Cashman and I'm Randy Levine, I got to think like, you know what? Derek Jeter as one of our partners or one of our, head office people might not be a bad idea, for the future of the New York Yankees.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, we always say this, and you knew him, and I got to meet him through you, and he loved you, Mr. George Steinbrenner. But Derek Jeter would never have been a Marlin if he was alive.
Nope.
Never. He would have been calling him whatever, the assistant, the acting something. He would have been an ambassador or something. You don't let people like Jeter walk away, and that's a decision I hope that they make and sit with Mr. Judge and make it all about the fans like Mr. Steinbrenner used to do, put the money back into the player, and Judge stays here. I don't see San Francisco. I don't, all due respect to his wife, you could possibly see the Dodgers, though. That's for sure, because he knows that's a team that's going to want to continue to win. And Barry Bonds was on ESPN, A-Rod and Kay last night, and they asked him, will the Giants pursue him? And he kind of was like, he belongs in New York. He said, New York is the theater, Robin. Barry Bonds said, when I used to come here and play in New York, I loved it. He told a quick story. I'll tell a quick story about it. He said, I don't know for our listeners. They said, were you ever close to being a Yankee? He said, I was offered the same amount of money as Ryan Sandberg, who was the highest paid back in the day, from the Yankees, but they told me I had 20 minutes to make a decision. So I went to lunch, and he said, and I was like, all right, I'm going to be a Yankee. Thinking 20 minutes means like, I got time, not 20 minutes. My agent called me back like 25 minutes later and said, the Yankees are out, but San Francisco offered you more. And that's how he ended up in San Francisco. So I don't think the Yankees were very serious about him if that were the case.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of sports tonight, so I can't wait to talk about it tomorrow.
Oh, she's so funny. No, we'll talk about furniture and we'll talk about your kids. Anyway, everybody.
Just my fun way of saying.
We just have to, before we sign off,
yep.
We have to salute the President's Cup being back in the United States. We did win.
Oh, I watched it, uneventful, but Liv, we'll talk about it during the week, is really weak in Golf Network. And
congratulations, USA.
Yeah, but USA, always a good thing. And speaking of that, screw Toronto. Don't boo our national anthem. Our boy 99's breaking that record
You
tonight.
go.
On New Jersey, Robin Delory, Jimmy Leyritz, the King, and Tommy Setner, the Cop. We'll see you tomorrow. Everybody stay safe.
Have fun at Salugis.
Salute.
See you
We're
guys.
gonna eat Vespucci's.
There
Ciao.
you go.